Hello, Stacy the Black Feather Intuitive. So excited to be joining you tonight for Demystify the Divine. Hello to all my YouTube followers. Hello to our Facebook people that are coming in and joining us. So happy to have you here. And hello to my Insta peeps. Really excited to have you all here. You can always check us out on YouTube, the Black Feather Intuitive, and we are live. So how has everyone's week been? I know that this week has been weird. That's the way I'm going to describe this week. This week has been weird, and there's no other way to say it. Actually, I was talking to one of my besties this morning, and she was like, how you doing today? And I'm like, I'm weird, but I'm fine. And she was like, oh my God, that's the perfect way to describe how I'm feeling too. So if you're weird but fine, feeling weird but fine, you are not alone and you are in the right place. So welcome to Demystify the Divine, weekly readings and tools to connect. So excited to be connecting with you guys today. For those of you who are just new and have never tuned in, you're in for a real treat. We do some archangel channeling. We do a channeling of the word of the week, or sometimes it's a phrase of the week. We pull cards. We do a tarot and an oracle card. We do a general reading for this week ahead and what is to come for us. And then we do a fabulous grab your decks portion section of the show where you get to grab your own oracle deck and you get to, I channel a couple of different questions that can help you to take that general message and personalize it, individualize it for you for the week. There's also a little bit of teaching. If you want to learn how to use your deck a little bit more, we talk about that a lot. So really excited to be diving in and stepping on the show. And Keone, I hear you cackling in the background. I know what you're cackling about. He's got music playing because he's like, I'm not even going to say.
I was like, I'll just play a tune.
So for those of you who are wondering, last week, even though this past week has been sort of weird, last week's show was even weirder because it was like we couldn't even tell whether we were the dirty show or the clean show. There was so much dirty talk going on. So now every time I say grab your decks, he has another word that he thinks about.
Only when you say it really fast. I'm just here to protect you, okay?
Absolutely. Yeah, this is it's not a family show because I do drop the F-bomb quite a bit, but it's definitely not X-rated. So
yeah, I don't have a dump button.
I've never seen that, someone pulling cards naked. I'm sure there are people out there that do it, but it's not me.
Maybe we'll do that with membership. I don't know, when the membership prices go up.
Yeah, you got to pay for that. Oh my God, too funny. All right, so if you like what you see here, feel free to like, subscribe, and click the bell on my YouTube. Get your notifications. We're always posting fun, interesting information on here. We do the show every week. For those of you on Facebook, feel free to, drop a comment in there, especially for the Grab Your Decks section. You can ask questions. We also would love to have some people on live. So if you'd like to join us live, shoot Keone a comment, and I think he puts a link in there, so you can click on the link and connect and say you want to go live. If you're camera shy, you can just be audio live if you want. And of course, we also love people who are not camera shy and willing to come on. And if that does not float your boat, you can always put some questions in the comments section. All right, let's get to it. Keone, I'm going to channel our word of the week. Okay, so this is interesting, and I sat in here and really asked the question a couple of times because I wanted to get a little more information, but this is what they gave me. The word of the week is hypocrisy. So as I tap into this energy, I really feel like what we want to be aware of as we are sort of traversing through our day and our week, that we want to be aware of where we see hypocrisy. And where we see hypocrisy, the guidance coming through isn't necessarily that we have to take action on it. The guidance that's coming through is awareness. So a lot of us who are connecting in these ways, in these forums and watching these videos and interested in seeking, sort of what's behind the curtain, what's behind the veil. We are aware. We're more aware. We're seeking more awareness of self. And through the awareness of self, we also learn about other, but we have to do it through self first. When we're talking about hypocrisy, of course, I mean, you can see hypocrisy out in the world any way you slice it. But how are you seeing it in your inner world and in your personal world, in your inner circle? And what are you doing with it? Are you getting all worked up about it? This is a message for me too. Are you getting all worked up about it? Are you wasting a whole lot of energy on things that I want to say you single-handedly can't change entirely for the world, but maybe your behavior or your action can shift energetically what's going on, and you put that energetic shift into the collective and you make your stand, your personal difference. Maybe you are walking through the world and you're not aware of a lot of the hypocrisy that's going on around you. And suddenly, because we're talking about this today, you start to notice that there are people who are saying one thing and doing another. Where is it showing up in your individual path? And the message here is not so that you have to necessarily call anybody out on it or you have to change it. It's more about the awareness of it. And then sitting into that awareness of it and saying, what do I want to do with this information? Or how does having this information shift or change me, or shift or change my reactions, my responses, my choices? If we continue to, I want to say, allow things to fester or to run rampant without noticing it, taking notice of it. And taking notice of it is different than taking action. If we let it go rampant and we're not taking notice of it, we're doing ourselves a disservice because we are not being aware. We're not honoring the tool and the power of awareness that each of us has within us. And let's face it, I feel like I say that every episode, but let's face it, we live in a world where there are a lot of people who are very unaware. And we have to interact with that unawareness all the time. We can choose to get frustrated with it. We can choose to get worked up about it, or we can choose to witness it, observe it, acknowledge that it's happening, and then make a decision based on our own needs, our own observation, our own requirements about how would I do that differently? Or maybe where do I do that in my own life that I'm not aware of? Where am I being hypocritical in my own life with other people? I feel like the Dream Team is bringing up this word this week because we are going to be seeing it, witnessing it on so many levels. And it's there every day for us to see. You turn on the regular TV and you're going to run into, you watch the news, you're going to run into a lot of it. Where are you? I want to say, where are you not bringing it into your life, but where are you acknowledging that it's happening? Or have you gotten so despondent that you just don't pay attention to it anymore? And so it's out of sight, out of mind. I won't see that today. I won't think about that today. I'll think about that tomorrow. A lot of that in these changing times, in this changing energy, that's not what we're here to do. We're not here to ignore. We're not here to push to the side and pretend like it doesn't exist. We're actually here to bring awareness to it, because what is awareness? When we bring awareness to it, it's acknowledging the energy that is connected to what's transpiring. And then it's up to you to determine, is that the kind of energy I want to sit into and interact with? Or do I want to provide an energy that lifts it up, that brings it a little higher, or maybe brings it out of that heavier feeling, the clunky, gucky, ooey gooey that we sit in. So, wow, this is a really interesting message this week. Normally they give us a message that is, I want to say they give us like a word or a phrase that's quite uplifting. Not that this is negative. I mean, it's, we choose to put a value on it, but I really feel like they're kind of giving us a butt kick. It's like they're saying, listen, you need to be more aware. You need to be more present about what is going on in your world. It's not that you have to do this or have to do that. It's more, I need to stop burying my proverbial head in the sand. If I am here to bring light to the world, if I am here to tap into frequency, I need to be accountable to myself and to the world at large for what that is that I'm bringing. So it's observing hypocrisy within ourselves as well as in the outside world. And I want to say our inner circle. And then just kind of giving some thought to what does that mean for you? And how does that shift and change your choices? Does it shift and change your choices? Maybe it doesn't. Maybe you view it and you go, and I wouldn't change a thing because this is just the way it is. Whatever floats your boat. The messages and the guidance is to really kind of examine the hypocrisy in and out of our lives. So, wow, really, really interesting. I'm going to save our Archangel channeling. I want to say, I feel like I want to save that for after the card pull because I'm just being guided to do that. I feel like there's something brewing. So I'm going to give the Archangels a minute and we're going to go to, sorry, Keone, I'm switching things up on you. So what time is it?
I mean, that's fine. There's no reason to have a producer if you're going to produce your own content. But
I got to keep you on your toes.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. All right, here we go. You don't know how tempted I was to play the wrong video on purpose.
Well, you could have if you wanted to. I would have been fine with that. What's really funny, guys, is I pulled a card for myself just before we got on today, and I pulled the Tower card. And I was like, for a second there, I thought it was the Tower card again. And this just flew out at us. So our card this week is the Devil card. So I'm going to talk about that in a second. But I pulled the Tower. And for those of you who are familiar with tarot, the Tower card is like the Tower card is like dun dun dun, like some big thing happening. And of course, that's not true. It's shift in perspective. It's the way that we shift and perceive things. It's the way that we make changes in our life. So it's not necessarily a bad thing, but it kind of gave me the thought, the show might be a little wonky tonight because we've got the Tower card. So we'll see what happens. So our first card for the week is the Devil in tarot. And the Devil card, here's why I love the Devil card. The Devil card helps us to deal with our shadow self. And how fitting that we're pulling the Devil card when we got a word of the week like hypocrisy. So again, it's not the devil being bad. The devil is just representing an archetype, right? We hear, angels and the devil. So it's indicating the shadow work. It's indicating the darker side of things. And I feel like this week, that is exactly what we are being invited to examine, the darker side of ourselves. When we talk about the Devil card, a lot of it is patterns and cycles. A lot of it is, where am I going off the rails? Where am I not reaching my personal goals or my personal, integrity? Where am I falling short of my own, I don't want to say expectations, but, my own personal goals? Where am I falling short? Where am I focusing on looking at everyone else and seeing what they're doing to avoid what's going on with me? Again, this week, they're really focusing on awareness. Where are you in your own awareness? What are you noticing about your life? What are you noticing in your life? What is going on in your life that maybe you are unaware of? Let's talk about patterns and cycles. Patterns and cycles, especially I want to say addictive patterns and cycles, can very much go from a place of unawareness. Whether you are, maybe if you're in an addictive pattern, you might be unaware that it's an addictive pattern at first. And then you have awareness of that addictive pattern, but you're unaware as to why you can't stop it. And then you might go into a pattern of, okay, I know what I'm supposed to do to stop it, but I'm unaware as to why I can't stop it or why I'm choosing not to stop it. So there's always this energy of looking at the shadow side. Every choice, there's two sides to every coin. Every coin has a different choice. Every coin, or every side of a coin, is a different choice. So the Devil card is coming in this week because I feel like there's a lot of energy collectively that is saying one thing but meaning another. And that is the definition of hypocrisy, right? I'm talking out of both sides of my mouth. And so the Devil card is coming through this week to say, not only do you want to observe that out in the world, you also want to bring it into your own life. And you're being invited to also take that deep dive, or maybe it's a shallow dive, if that's all you can handle, into the shadow side of yourself. We cannot have light, purity, divinity without some level of dark. And I'm going to tell you, the dark comes from the light. It's all light. It's all energy. It's all love. It's just a matter of whether it's a lower vibrational energy or a higher vibrational energy that we're tapping into. And it's the intention behind it. So when you are kind of going on about your day, going on about your week, and things are coming up and you're getting frustrated with other people or other interactions, or things are not going quite the way you want, instead of getting all worked up about it, take a moment to say, let me kind of do the shadow. Let me do the deep dive. I know what I want to see. Maybe there's a reason why it's not happening. Is there something within me? Is there a choice that I am making that is causing me to stay more in that shadow space, or to avoid? Is there a reason why I want to avoid why this might be happening? This is a real butt kick to look at ourselves. My mother has the saying, I gotta look at myself, warts and all. I gotta love myself, warts and all. This is, and I need to love myself, warts and all. But in order to love myself, warts and all, I have to look at the warts. I have to accept that they're there. I can remove them because, what I like to say is knowledge is power. If you don't know that there's something broken, how can you fix it? And I don't mean to imply that people are broken by using that statement in any way, shape, or form. It's just the concept of it. If I don't know that, the belt isn't working or isn't running properly under the hood, how do I know that there's something going to happen when I get into that motor, or when I get into that car and turn on the motor and go down the road, right? I don't know. But if I open the hood because I'm hearing a sound or I'm feeling an urge or a nudge to open the hood, I better open the hood, because that's going to help me to see all that's going on. And if you don't know that it's broken, you can't fix it. But if you do know that there's something there that needs to be shifted, then you can save yourself a whole whack of hurt. And sometimes diving into the devil can be painful. It can be uncomfortable. But I want to say to you, the pain and the discomfort of diving into it with intention is a hell of a lot better than diving into it or being thrown into it unintentionally, or when you're sort of taken by surprise, right? So the devil is inviting each of us to really say, you know what? I'm not, I might be a whole lot of love and light and a little bit of fuck you, but maybe I need to look at the fuck you, because how is it helping me? Is it helping me? Is it maybe hindering me? Is it getting in the way of the things that I really want to do and how I want to show up in the world this week? I'm also hearing, and so I don't like to be super predictive in this way, but I'm hearing that there's going to be some kind of bigger disaster. It doesn't feel like the natural disaster of the hurricane that we know is happening right now in Florida, and sending love to Florida, by the way, for that. This actually feels more like it's connected to something industrial, and it might be some kind of sabotage, but I feel like there's going to be sort of something that comes up that is newsworthy or world-worthy. And I feel like it's a reflection of people not looking at things that are kind of staring them right in the face, not being willing to face the boogeyman, to face the boogeyman or to face those devilish, fiendish things that all of us have in our personalities, in our desires, in the ways that we want to experience and express ourselves out in the world. So I want to say this week, make friends with your devil, make friends with your inner devil. And when we make friends with something or we make friends with someone, it doesn't necessarily mean we let so much of it into our lives, or like, the proverbial Pandora's box. What it means is we get to know it so that it's not that fearful unknown. What is the one thing that humans are so afraid of? The unknown, right? We act so ridiculous when we're talking about the unknown. So make your devil known. Get to know it. Get to know that devil, because what that's going to do is it's going to give you more knowledge so that you have a better handle on how you choose to interact with yourself and thereby interact with others. So that's a huge thing for this week. All right. That was the Star Tarot by Kathy McClelland. And now for our Oracle, we've got the Lantern Oracle.
Ding, 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 ding. We have an achievement.
What is our achievement?
We have crossed the meter. We have said our 100th F word on this show.
Have we seriously?
Yes, that's 100 F bombs by Stacy.
Oh my God. Woohoo!
Back in when you get to 200.
I want the cookie. Give me the cookie. That's so funny. Well, we have an F bomb. So congratulations to us. And for all of you viewers who were offended by it, I apologize in advance. It just happens. So the Oracle deck that we have is the Lantern Oracle by Angelina Mirabito. And we have the card Trusting Tricksters. The trickster's only power is your trust. You are always free to withdraw it. How perfect. We're talking about hypocrisy. We're talking about the devil. We're talking about patterns and cycles, maybe some addictive things that are coming up. And now we've got this trusting tricksters. And what this is an invitation to is to remember your power. Take back your power, to understand that, there's a lot that comes into your path that may appear to be very different than what it actually is. And what was I saying with the devil card? Get to know your devil. Have a conversation with your devil, because if you're constantly burying your head in the sand and, I don't want to see my devil, it's going to be a problem, because that devil, what we resist persists. That devil's going to keep coming up until you face it, until you acknowledge it. So now acknowledge that devil, acknowledge the trickster, and you will recognize, and then, look at this picture. That little trickster she's making friends with him. He's making friends with her. It's not that he might be smooth talking her here as well, because there are some lines that are around her. But what I feel is it's actually that she's putting those binds, I shouldn't say lines, those binds, she's putting those binds around him. So she's taking her power back, that he thinks he's coming up to, smooth talk her into something, and she's listening, but she's really putting her focus on the flower, making him think that, I got your back and I hear what you're saying. But really she's kind of putting a leash around him and saying, no, you know what? We're going to do this together, and we're going to do this a bit differently. You're not the boss of me. I'm the boss of me. So getting this card this week, I feel like this is also kind of tapping into that energy of really understanding that, there's a lot of stuff going around that we can judge or deem negative or frustrating or irritating, that we can't control it or we can't stop it. And yet, here's our dream team coming through and saying, it's time for you to take back your power. How do you take back your power? By being aware of what's around you and making choices out of that awareness, rather than the unawareness. I'm going to just throw spaghetti at the wall to see what sticks because I'm afraid. No, you can be afraid and still face all of it. You can be afraid and be knowledgeable, and that's going to help you to work through that fear onto the other side of it, where you do make friends with all of this stuff, so that it's not as scary anymore and it's not controlling you in an unconscious way. So, we all talk about our awakening. Most of us that are on here have gone through an awakening or are going through a personal awakening right now. This is a different level of that. This is saying, okay, you're all awakened. There's this energy of, understanding spirit and understanding source and understanding the energy in all things. And yeah, that's all fabulous and wonderful. And you got your psychic abilities and all the rest of it. Well, what the hell are you doing with it? How are you stepping in and shifting and changing the world? How are you facing hypocrisy? Where is hypocrisy in your life? How are you stepping into your own fears? Are you using the spirituality to hide from those fears, or are you going to use the spirituality as a tool to be able to help you to move through those fears to get to the other side, where there is higher ascension, higher awareness? That's what ascension is all about. Higher awareness, having choice to be able to interact with one another with kindness, with love, with understanding, with compassion, not doormat, not allowing people to walk all over us, but with understanding and awareness. So the word was hypocrisy, but I want to say the real word is awareness, right? That's really what's going on for us this week. So trusting tricksters, make the tricksters your friend, make the devil your friend. Don't be afraid to do that shadow work. And it's a challenge for all of us this week. All of us need to do that inner work. We need to do that. If you want to do a shallow dive, by all means, or we need to do that deep dive and really take a look at how we are showing up and who we really are. And is that really representing where we want to be and who we want to be out in the world? Is it helping or is it hindering us and others? It's a real question. Okay, I'm going to just channel an archangel.
Hold on, before you channel, we got sorry to interrupt you. No, I'm not. But we have a couple of people who are gracious about your accomplishment. So Jennifer says, "LOL, that's hilarious. Good for you, Stacy." And he says, "Yeah, F-bombs." And then my favorite one of the day is, "I'm fucking proud of you." LOL. All right. Now let's get to channeling.
Oh my God, that's awesome. Thank you all for that that acknowledgement of the support. That's my cookie. Thank you.
You have the greatest watchers ever.
I do. I love it. I absolutely love it. Awesome. All right. I'm going to go into my little happy place and channel an archangel and see who comes through today. Greetings, beautiful souls. I am Archangel Raziel. You may know me as the Archangel of Wisdom, the Archangel of Knowledge, for I have been the collector and keeper of all that you have learned and experienced throughout your many lifetimes on the planet Earth and beyond. I am grateful to be here speaking with you at this time to convey messages of support and encouragement. You have received some messaging that has highlighted what humanity sees as distasteful or inappropriate. And we in the angelic collective do not place such judgment on what we witness, for we understand that it is all a part of the process of human ascension. However, we do support this awareness, for it is the awareness that allows each of you to make individual soul path decisions around what you have chosen as a soul to bring into this lifetime and into this new energy that you are currently birthing. we understand that there is much derision and confusion and many dark moments and energies and events that can be quite disturbing to those of you who connect with a higher calling, a higher sense of being. And it is those of you that we wish to encourage. You do have the ability to rise above and rise beyond these denser emotional ties. In order to do this, you must keep your focus always on where you wish to see the world and you in it. You talk much of manifesting. This is very much in the vein of manifesting and co-creation. For you have such beautiful visions in your minds. Does it make sense to keep those visions to yourselves? We wish to encourage you to share them, to actively live them out. And in doing so, you will change the planet's landscape, the energetic and emotional landscape that you are all currently in. It was mentioned earlier that you cannot do this singularly or be expected to do this by yourself. And of course, this is true to one vantage point. But from another vantage point, we wish to remind you that all actions are carried through the energetic field of Mother Earth. And therefore, this means that even a small action, such as a thought in a different direction, or having a thought of a different outcome, sends ripples through the earth. Your minds, hearts, and souls are all connected, and therefore you all feel it to one degree or another. Do not doubt your ability as a single soul aspect to make great change. And not every change needs to be deemed as great. Small change has similar effect. Open yourselves to this truth and know that we support you. We step back now and allow you to continue your evening. We send much love to you. Okay. Thank you, Raziel, for coming through. I love Raziel. I always think of him as, the way I see him always is as Merlin. He's kind of a magical, sort of the magical angel. Okay, so Keone, I'm going to give you the spotlight, and I'm going to create a couple of questions for us for our next segment.
I always have to follow up someone like Raziel. How am I supposed to do that?
You're magical too. I'm sure you'll find a way.
All right. Oh, I got a new camera. It makes my head look even bigger. That's great. Anywho, hopefully retrograde is almost over, even though, you know, it's supposed to be over a long time ago. Apparently it's 365 days this year. We welcome you all today from Instagram, Facebook, and those of you who have been here since the beginning on YouTube. If you would like to come on live, the link is in the chat. I'm going to place it in there one more time. We do the live readings first, and then we get to the requests in the chat in the order that they came. We do card readings first, and if we get a chance to get to any channelings, we will get to those. But I thank you all for getting in there and asking those. If you want to get a more intimate look at Stacy and how she got where she was and a little bit about her personal life, you can go on YouTube and look up Keone Productions and a show called The Process. We did a very, very extensive interview with Stacy last Wednesday. I'll put that in the chat before it's over. So those of you who are new or haven't known Stacy for that long and you want to get a little bit of her history, you can go on there and check that. Always remember to like and subscribe to the channel. It helps the channel out a lot. All right, Stacy, what's our questions?
All right. So our questions today: what card energy can support me in exploring my inner devil this week? So that's a great card pull. What card energy can support me in exploring my inner devil? And card number 2, how can I shift hypocrisy that I become aware of in my world?
Oh.
Yeah, deep. We're going deep, folks. We're going deep.
Yeah.
How can I shift hypocrisy that I become aware of in my world?
Well, that's awesome. The first person you get to talk to is Stacy D.
Ooh, another Stacy who spells it the same way. Hey, how are you? Oh,
You got to unmute yourself, Stacy.
Hi.
Hi. I've read
How's it
you
going?
before. You look super familiar to me. Have I read?
Yeah,
you?
a couple weeks back. Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, so glad to have you on again. How are you doing?
Doing pretty good. It is a crazy time, but doing good.
That's awesome. We have to find the good in all of this crazy, right? We have to kind of make it for ourselves. So I love that. All right.
Definitely.
So are you pulling from your own deck today, or did you want a card pull?
I was hoping for a card pull.
Awesome. So do you want all tarot, all oracle, or one of each?
How about one of each?
One of each it is. So we're going to pull a tarot for what card energy can support me in exploring my inner devil. Oh, this one is standing out to me. Oh, I love it. Okay. So you got 8 of Pentacles. Stacy, 8 of Pentacles is a Virgo card. I'm a Virgo, so I can totally connect to this. It is a card of mastery. It is a card of understanding that what work I put into something, I'm going to get out. It's the details. It's paying attention to the details. So the card energy that can support you in exploring your inner devil this week is really paying attention to the details. It's not so much about looking at the bigger, wider picture of things. It's really kind of going within and saying, all right, I'm feeling this. Why am I feeling this way? And I'm just going to share with you, I had an experience a couple of weeks ago with a friend that one of his choices kind of irked me a little bit. It was something where I felt like I heard him making a decision, and I was like, ooh, we kind of been around that merry-go-round before. Like, why are you doing it again? And I stepped into more of a judgy place, and I am so non-judgmental. So when this popped up, I was like, okay, I need to check myself because there's something coming up. First of all, it's not like me to be judgy because, hey, he has his own path. Do your own thing. I believe in you. I trust you to do you. So where is this coming from? And I had to do a little deep dive. I had to do the shadow. And what I did is I had to go into the details in order to be able to get to the heart of the matter for why I was having this weird sort of judgy moment. And doing the details helped me to get right to the heart of it and to clear myself up, right? To check up from the neck up kind of thing. And to really recognize that, this isn't me. This isn't where I want to be. So I need to clear this and move forward and step more into that space of love and compassion and understanding that he has his path. It's not mine. It's not mine to walk. And mine isn't his to walk. So really feeling a lot of that energy for you. And I feel like this week when we're talking about sort of the inner devil, I want to say to you right off the bat, you need to be kind and gentle with yourself when you're doing this, because I'm feeling a lot of perfectionistic energy, and you're going to be a little like me where you're going to go into the detail and then you're going to have the potential to ruminate on it, to beat yourself up, to say, oh my God, I'm a horrible person. Why did I do this? Why did I do that? We don't want to do that. That's not the purpose of the exercise. The purpose of the exercise is to say, okay, it's work. I'm going to like carve it out. I'm going to take a look at it. Again, we get to know our inner devil, right? I'm going to take a look at this and get to know why this is popping up for me so that I can release it, so that I can love it. Because at the end of the day, our shadow work is really connected to the ego. And our egos need to be integrated, right? We don't need to cut the ego out. We need to bring the ego in because the ego wants to be loved. And it doesn't understand love when it's in fear mode, right? So feeling like there's, you're going to need to just be gentle and loving with yourself when you're doing this work. How can you shift hypocrisy that you become aware of in your world? So that the oracle deck that we got for you, oh, beautiful. Misalignment. Miracles become normal once we face all of the aspects of our life in the same direction. Check this out. So a lot of vulnerability in this card. And so I want to say to you, how can I shift hypocrisy that I become aware of in my world? It's about being vulnerable. She's naked, right? And she's naked and she's trying to cover her face. She's closing her eyes. I want to say it's about opening those eyes, even when you are feeling a bit vulnerable and feeling like the spotlight's on you. And don't forget to ask for miracles. It's a miracle when we're able to really connect. If you think about it, most people live their lives completely unaware. You know, how many of us know, and I know you probably know somebody for sure right off the top of your head that always has to be right rather than happy, right? Someone who's constantly, passing the buck. You know, there's always someone else or always something else that they can blame. I think we all know somebody like that, right? So this is saying, wait a second, I'm going to choose not to go down that path. And instead, I'm going to ask for a miracle. I'm going to say, ooh, this shadow work stuff is a bit tough. And this hypocrisy that I'm seeing, you know what, Dream Team, let's work on a miracle for this. Let's find some way to shift this. And here's how I'm going to contribute to the shift. Here's what I'm going to do. And, it's kind of like a corporate match. All right, corporate dream team, match what I put in there. You know, you get to match or double whatever it is that I am investing into this project or investing into this person or this situation. So don't forget to ask for miracles. Speaking of miracles, I feel like something that you've actually been asking for and sort of, I keep hearing like praying on or setting intention around is going to show up this week. And it's going to show up in a way that you're going to be like, holy cannoli. Like I had no idea that was going to happen in that way. I didn't see that coming. And yet here it is. And I just see you having this wonderful moment, like this gratitude party moment where you're like, confetti in my mind, confetti to everyone. Really feels like you're just in a space of such gratitude for it. And it's something that you've been waiting a while for, So I want to give you some positive information and positive stuff that I feel that you are going to have a miracle show up in your world. And you're going to be so happy when it does.
Thank you. A lot of what you've shared, well, all of it is definitely applicable to where I am right now. So I really, really appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thanks so much for coming on live, being brave and vulnerable to be on camera. I love it.
Yeah. All right. You guys take care. Thank you.
Thank you,
Have a great
Stacy.
week.
Oh, darn it. Sorry, Stacy. I pressed the button a little too fast. I'm sorry. Go ahead and say your thank you. I'm sorry.
Oh, thank you. You too.
It's all good.
All right.
All right. And you know who's next? They didn't make it first. I'm surprised. For the first time, they were second in line.
Oh, Raghu, how are you?
I'm coming from Indu's account, so that's a surprise.
Oh, well, that's all right. We love having you, and being second is shifting up the energy. So I think that's great that we got some things. Again, like I saw the Tower card today before I went on live. So I think everything is just going to be its own thing, you know?
Wow, she's such a positive Patty.
And congratulations, Stacy.
Congratulations. Oh, on the fuck you? Whatever I said, the fuck.
102 now. It's 102 now.
It's 102 now, and I wear the badge with pride. So are you pulling some cards from your own deck today, or do you want me to pull?
No, I'm pulling from my deck.
Awesome.
Keepers of the Light, Kyle Gray deck.
Oh, I love Keepers of the Light. So your first question, what card energy can support you in exploring your inner devil?
Green Tara, Supreme Protection.
You get that a lot, don't you? I feel like you've gotten that one before. I love that one.
Yes.
So
You are protected. Cards are being cut. Move beyond limitations. And trust.
love it. Trust. Yeah, that's huge, right? So what card energy can support you in exploring your inner devil? Trusting that the universe has got your front, back, sides, bottom, and top. It's understanding that you are protected even from your own inner demons, right? Even from your own inner devil.
Right. I think that's what is most important.
Yeah,
You
absolutely.
can protect yourself from outside demons, probably from your inner demons. You need help.
Yeah. And because that's quite honestly, I mean, that's the shadow work. And that's what we've been talking about all night tonight.
Right.
That is really our biggest fear. It's not all the stuff that happens on the outside. We can go down that particular rabbit hole, but it's really, what are we really afraid of? We're afraid of these things about ourselves coming out. We're afraid to be vulnerable. We're afraid of saying one thing and doing another, or being judged or misjudged for what we're doing. So that's awesome. Is there one particular thing on the card that stands out to you that I want to say might have a personal message for you?
The serenity in this little girl's face. I'm seeing her as a little girl,
Yeah.
and she is so serene.
Serene. So you can use that serenity, that serene energy, whenever you are doing the shadow work. That inner devil comes up and you start to have a little more fear around what you're witnessing, what you're experiencing, maybe the messages even that you're being given. Because I hear that you're going to hear things when you're doing this work. I also see you doing some journaling and writing around it. And it feels like what you're going to be doing is more automatic writing, automatic channeling, rather than actually, oh, I'm writing and I know what I'm writing. It's more like, okay, this is what's coming out and coming through. And I feel like there's an insight that's going to come through for you this week that's really something that has been eluding you for a while. And all of a sudden, I feel like it pops up. And there's going to be almost a sense of relief when it pops up. I feel that you may even have some tears around it and a little bit of anger around it, but mostly relief, because now, again, the word awareness, there's awareness.
Right.
And when you have that awareness, now you're going to know what the next step is to take.
You don't know what you don't know.
Exactly. So your second card pull, how can you shift hypocrisy that you become aware of in your world?
Like you always say, Stacy, you can't make this shit up. Hilarion, divine healing.
Oh, wow.
Honor your sensitivity. Retreat to recharge and heal. Your life can support others.
Oh my God. So it's a clear message for you that your energy and what you are putting out there can literally shift any environment that you're in, anything that you witness, anything that you see, because you are stepping into that heart space and sending healing into the world, into the collective, and into the person or people that you're interacting with, which I think is just fabulous. I love Hilarion as well because he's connected to Archangel Raphael. So I feel like that's a significant message for you this week too. Of course, you can connect with Ascended Master Hilarion, but I feel like you also want to be intentional about bringing Archangel Raphael into your meditations. That's really significant.
Okay. And this also goes back to what today you are channeling Archangel as well, that every thought has an effect on the world.
Absolutely.
That's what. And both these cards have green.
Oh, I didn't even notice that. Good call. So Green is, of course, connected to the heart chakra, and that is
Right.
the healing, healer, healed. It's also the color of abundance. So I feel like there's a level of abundance that you're going to be achieving, getting into. And I want to say it's the frequency. You're going to be getting into the frequency of this abundance after you have this aha moment, after you have the sort of the revelation that I saw, that there's relief and a little bit of anger, but mostly relief. So be prepared for some pretty cool abundance coming your way too. And I feel that this is physical, like this is monetary and this is material, that there's
And
abundance.
that's always appreciated.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know anyone who doesn't appreciate that. So definitely a good message for you this week.
Thank you very much, Stacy.
You are so welcome.
Always, it's a great pleasure to see you on Kioni.
Absolutely sending you so much love, and say hi to Indu as well.
Will do.
All right.
We'll say hi to you next week, Indy. We'll say hi to you next week.
Take care, Regu.
We'll be number one again next week.
I love it. I love it.
And now we have Kimberly Brayford.
Hey, Kimberly, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing great, thank you. Do you want a card pull today, or are you pulling your own?
I'm gonna let you pull for me.
Awesome. Do you want tarot, oracle, or a little bit of both?
Whatever you feel. You tell
All
me.
right, we're going to do a little bit of both. So your first card is I'm pulling from the tarot deck. What card energy can support me in exploring my inner devil? Ooh, I love this. You got 5 of Cups. So 5 of Cups is very much a card of choices and catalysts towards those choices. So when we're talking about what can support you in exploring your inner devil, it's understanding that you always have a choice as to how, okay, you don't have a choice as to how you feel. We feel what we feel, but you do have a choice in how much you allow that feeling to influence your actions. And I feel like that's what's coming up for you this week. When you're dealing with that inner devil, you're exploring and going into that shadow work. Of course, it's going to bring up all sorts of feelings. And what I keep hearing for you is there's a level of defensiveness that is going to come up within you when you're doing this deep dive. And you're going to want to defend yourself against your dream team. And of course, you know, they're not judging us. They're just simply, you know, pointing us in the direction of what we need to see so that we can work through it. We can heal it. We can bring awareness to it and love and all of those things. So then what happens with 5 of Cups is 5 is the energy of change and transformation. And so you're going to have the opportunity, I want to say, to alchemize what you see in that shadow side. So I don't want to say resist the urge to be defensive, just acknowledge that I really want to be defensive right now, you know, state your case, and then step into a different choice. Understand that you can shift how those feelings are affecting you. And I feel like that's the big message here is the not allowing the feelings to overtake you. And that's, you know, in many ways, that's what our shadow work is all about, is we get caught up in the ocean of our emotion thinking that it is the truth, but it's not the truth, right? It is, right? The feelings just are, but it's not truth. So really powerful message for you. And this particular card, I love the butterflies on this card that are sort of attached to the rainbow. And I feel like that's a really direct pointed message for you, that you want to actually be looking for rainbows and you want to be looking for beautiful butterflies. I feel that they are going to be coming into your space to let you know when you have changed, when you have shifted that feeling or emotion, or you recognize that you didn't go down the rabbit hole that those feelings can give you. It's almost like the butterflies and the rainbows are going to be rewards in essence for work well done, a job well done. Love that. All right. So your second question, how can I shift hypocrisy that I become aware of in my world? And as I'm reading this for you and I'm tapping into the energy of it, I feel like this is really the big question for you. This is definitely one that you're going to be, you're going to be really witnessing. You're really going to be present for it. So you got radical curiosity, seeing as if for the first time, every time. I love this. There's a beautiful little kid on this card. So lots of innocence. And when we're talking about how can I shift hypocrisy that I become aware of in my world, I feel like for you, it's not taking it so seriously or so personally. It's acknowledging it, but then not allowing it to, I want to say, to overtake you. Instead, you're looking at it and you're saying, wow, I wonder why this person is doing that. Exactly from the eyes or the mind of a child. Why does that, person make that face? Why is that person saying those hateful things to that other person? Kids just call things out like they see it, but they do it in a very innocent way. And I feel like that's the message that's coming through for you is you can still call out that hypocrisy, but you're calling it out not from a place of judgment, more from a place of curiosity. Why is that happening? Why are you saying these things when I know that you mean something different? Why is this happening in the world? Asking the question gives the person an opportunity to pause and answer it. And maybe they've never had the opportunity or even thought to ask the question of themselves. And so they might not even have an answer. And that stops them in their tracks and shifts the energy. So you have a real opportunity this week, I feel very much, to approach hypocrisy from a completely different perspective, from a perspective that you don't normally approach it from. And watch what happens, because I feel we got a miracle card earlier. I think that was Stacy's card. I feel like this will bring about miracles as well through the eyes of a child, through that space of innocent curiosity rather than a place of judgment.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's super cool, Kimberly. I love that.
I do. Yeah. That's perfect, I guess, for what's coming.
Yeah. And I feel also like for you this week, there's a lot of opportunity for you to just breathe. I want to say this week, you really want to take the opportunity to be more in an observational pattern rather than, I want to say, being responsive. In fact, I feel like any sort of conversations that you have that are requiring you to make some kind of decision, you might want to just make a commitment to yourself and let the person know, we're having this discussion and I'm going to need 24 hours to really think about it before I get back to you on a response. I'm not ignoring you. I'm not discounting you. I'm just really committing to giving myself the space to feel into this, to give this some consideration before I step in. And again, it's radical curiosity, right? I want to be curious about what's going to go on in the next 24 hours. Now that I'm thinking about what you've said and how I'm feeling about it. So give yourself time to pause and breathe. That's going to be really important. And that's a big tool that's going to work well for you this week.
Okay. That sounds good. Thank you.
Awesome. You're so welcome. I hope you have a great rest of your night.
Yep, you too.
All right. Take care.
All right. We're going to have to do speed pulls. Okay. So we have Annie Hopwood that says, could you please pull a card for us? So let's pull a tarot card for Annie.
All right. Which question, Keone, should we do for her?
Let's do the first question.
Okay. So the first one, what card energy can support me in exploring my inner devil? There it is. Ooh, we got another 8, Annie. 8 of Swords. 8 of Swords is the card of entrapment, and it's entrapment in our own minds. The idea here is that we think that we're trapped by all of these seeming obstacles that are around us. But in the end, and I like to describe this as well as, okay, I might be surrounded by swords, and in order to get out of this particular trap, I'm going to get cut, but I'm not going to get cut to the point where I'm going to, bleed out and die. I'm just going to get cut a little bit, but I will heal from those cuts. So the question becomes, is it the pain of, I have to go through the swords and get cut, but then I'm free, I heal, and then I'm free, and I never have to do that again? Or do I choose the pain of staying stuck or staying stagnant or staying trapped because I'm afraid of the other pain. So in many ways, I think it's funny. It's kind of like, are you going with the devil you know or the devil you don't? And this week you're being challenged. I want to say to go with the devil you don't know. It's breaking out of this in order to really be able to, I want to say, fly free, to heal and fly free. So this card is inviting you, when you're exploring your inner devil, this card is inviting you to really take a look at, I want to say, what are you getting out of the pain? You know, like I feel like we all have some level of pain that we are, or discomfort. We can use the word discomfort as well. That sort of holds us back from time to time from risking growth. And so you want to take a look at this week and say, is it the devil I know that is holding me back? And I'm staying in this space of, at least I know this. It's not fun, but at least I know it. Or is it time for me to branch out and go with the devil I don't, which is maybe it's not a devil at all, right? Maybe it's something pretty miraculous. And there's a little bit of effort or discomfort or pain that I have to go through. But on the other side, that pain then will be done. It will not be prolonged. So I feel like that's an important message for you to hear this week. Also, I love this card because I feel like it's also a reminder to pay attention to our thoughts. You know, are our thoughts what is holding us in place, or holding us back from moving forward? And if that's the case, I don't want to say it's an easy way out, but it's, simple isn't always easy, or easy isn't always simple. But I feel here like, if you're aware, again, there's that word, if you're aware of your thoughts and you're aware of how your thoughts are affecting your choices, then you can choose some different thoughts. You can put that in a different direction, right? Or kind of turn those thoughts off and really step into the heart space. And that's what this is inviting you to do. Thanks so much for asking for a card pull. I love that.
All right, last one. Second question, Oracle card for Try Red.
Try Red. So nice to see.
I mean, try. He's trying now. He's on a different account.
Try. Okay, well, we like try. How can I shift hypocrisy that I become aware of in my world? Oh, that's the first one. This is going to be juicy. Inner life. Your inner life is a garden to be cultivated. This card reminds me of like a darker depiction of the Empress in the tarot card. And you see this beautiful wise woman. You can see that she's lived a life and she's birthing this new world and this new earth. And I feel like for you, how can you shift the hypocrisy you become aware of in your world? I feel like for you, it's staying within your own visions, in your own mind, and birthing those. It's not so much ignoring that someone else is, being hypocritical, or I want to say stepping into something difficult. What I feel here is it's giving you the opportunity to explore it, bring it into the heart space, bring it into the soul space, and allow it to transmute and transform there. And then what you share out of that is that transmuted and transformed hypocrisy. I'm also seeing on the screen here, I am in need of guidance too, if there is time for a card pull. So I also feel like in terms of guidance and what you're asking for, what I'm really drawn to here is that your inner life is a garden to be cultivated. A big part of what is going on for you right now is you're not putting enough time away for self-care. I feel like you're doing it, but you're kind of doing it half-heartedly. You're sort of 1 foot in and 1 foot out. And I feel like you really need to commit to the self-care, because there are a couple of things that have transpired for you. One of those things recently, and one of those things I feel kind of drained you energetically, and you haven't been able to fully replenish your cup with that yet. And it's really about going within. It's also understanding that the life that you have in your own mind, and I want to say like the fantasy life, the imagination, is something that you need to kind of bring back, or I want to say bring to the forefront and make that a focus, because you're missing out on that. I feel like life is getting a little bit heavy because you're getting focused on, the seriousness of all of the, the to-do of the day. And this is saying, wait a second, no matter what's going on in your outer world, your inner world and your inner life can be magical. So step into that. Cultivate the magic that is within you. and you will feel a shift in your energy instantly. I feel like it's going to happen within 30 seconds of doing it, because you're now connecting with self, or reconnecting, or becoming aware of the connection with self and source. So I hope that makes some sense. Thank you so much for asking for the card pull. I'm sorry I missed your question there, and I was reading it on another question, but you know, it's a two for today. So you got both questions answered. All right, Keone, I think that's it, right?
That is it.
Okay, so thank you everyone for tuning in today. So excited to be sharing this space and this energy with all of you. Loving this space. I want to just let everyone know that I'm getting ready to release my membership. It's going to be launched on November 15th. Ignite Your Wings, Wisdom for Transformation. And if in the meantime you're needing some guidance around this shadow work and how to transform it, I would love to be of service. I'm all about the Phoenix. And so you can book a 30 or 60 minute reading with me, and we can dive right into the core issues and get you some direction and guidance that'll help you through those transformations. And we are all in a phase of transformation. So don't beat yourself up over it. Get some support and know that, that I'm with you. I stand by you. I get it. I fully get it. So I hope everyone has a great week. Be safe, and we'll see you next time. Thanks, Keone.